live from the drama-free true crime destination. It's the time where every story finds its edge, every opinion lands with weight, and every moment leads here. This is the final word.
Hello there, and welcome to the special late night edition of the Final Word. I'm Ernest Bethea, the last Outlaw. So good to have you all here, and little Annie, how you doing? So good to see you. Good, and thanks for the assist. This is gonna be. I don't know how long this is gonna be, but I'm not planning on being before you all long tonight. Trying to cover the two biggest stories that has dominated the headlines this week: the Charlie Kirk assassination and the shooting at Evergreen High School in Colorado. But first, I want to bring you my why, because I don't get in any kind of an audience, and when I do, I am grateful for it, and I thank you all for showing up. But some people will ask, why do you keep doing it? You don't get much of an audience, you don't get much of a reaction. Why do you keep doing it? This is my origin story. When I was a caregiver, my first caregiving client, I was a living caregiver. I started this thing just messing around, messing with WWE and UFC cards and all that, just messing around. After my client had passed away, I ended up homeless for a time, so I had to put that on pause. When I got back on my feet, I started up again right around the time COVID hit. And when I restarted it, it was about I was trying to do straight news and politics, and that didn't seem to get any traction for a good time. Then I found that I got this one case. That one case, Tim and Tracy Ferreter, and the abuse the child suffered in that home in Florida, where he's put in a 6x8 cell, if you will, in the home. That was what got my foot in the door of the true crime community, and I'm so grateful for that. And ever since that case, I've been going, and I've been going nonstop. And when I ask myself, why do I do it? It's because I feel I'm compelled to speak for the victims who can't. I feel like I'm compelled to deliver their stories and see a good conclusion, and let us, those who are here, have our say on it. And how do I do it? The only way I know how. As you can see on the screen, my promise: no gimmicks, no drama, no BS. That's my why. And I'm going to keep on doing it until I can't do it anymore. Alright, so now that we got that straightened out, let's get down to why I'm here on this late Friday night. And for all of you that are joining me here on the East Coast, good early morning to you. First off, we'll start with coverage from ABC News. The suspect has been arrested in the shooting of Charlie Kirk. But before we get to ABC News' coverage, I got the split between the Charlie Kirk shooting and the shooting at Evergreen High School in Colorado. I'm gonna see if we can if I can get you to follow along with this little table I got here. Just give me just a moment or two. All right, I got that set. Let you see this on the screen as well. All right, here's the way I have it broken down. Charlie Kirk was shot around 12:23 p.m. Mountain Time. The shooting at Evergreen High School about a minute later. You see the locations. Charlie Kirk's assassination happened in Orem, Utah. Evergreen High School, Jefferson County, Colorado. Your suspects, I'm gonna highlight them for you. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. He was despite what most MAGA Republicans think Tyler Robinson was a white registered Republican voter in Utah. So let's see. No, I won't do that. That'll put me right back into my political era, and I don't want to go there. Over on the in the Evergreen High School shooting, it was 16-year-old Desmond Holly. He was a student at the school. The weapon that Robinson had was a high-powered bolt-action rifle with a scope and engraved bullets that were recovered. Engraved bullets. Desmond Holly had a revolver with quite a bit of ammunition. The incident summary was that a single shot was fired from a rooftop during Kirk's speaking event. Some stories say that it was about 200 yards away. The Evergreen shooting, Holly moved through the school firing and reloading. And there are multiple crime scenes inside and outside of the school. As you know, Charlie Kirk was the one who was killed, and he's identified as the victim. Over at Evergreen, 2 students were injured, both in critical condition. One of them being named as 18-year-old Matt Silverstone. The family has requested privacy during this time. The second victim has not been publicly named. As far as the suspects go, Robinson was arrested after a family tip and the rifle was recovered. Holly died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. There was no police gunfire. Both cases are under investigation. In the Charlie Kirk assassination, the family says the suspect's family says that he had become more political and disliked Charlie Kirk's views. And as for Desmond Holly, he's been linked to an extremist network. Go figure that one. The law enforcement notes lets us know that in the Charlie Kirk case, tip from a family member led to his arrest, and Discord messages detailed his escape and weapon stash. As for Desmond Holly, it was a quick lockdown credited with preventing more casualties, and the FBI is assisting. Now, this is where you really get it. The public reaction. In the Kirk case, early online speculation blamed political opponents. See, that's what I'm talking about. As soon as Charlie Kirk gets shot and killed, a leftist did it, a Democrat did it, a liberal did it. But what happened? Let me highlight this for all to see. Facts contradicted initial claims. Let me go back here again. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, white, and a registered Republican. And as far as the public reaction from the Evergreen High School shooting, the focus is on school safety and extremist influence, but still, that shooting leaves a community shaken. Let's see. How you doing, Mischief? It's good to have you. Good to have you here. All right. Now, as promised, we're gonna start off with our coverage of the Charlie Kirk shooting, courtesy of our good friends at ABC News.
Breaking news, officials say they have a suspect in custody in the shooting death of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. They say a family member of the 22-year-old reached out to a family friend who then reached out to law enforcement. And sources tell ABC News it was his father who convinced the suspect to turn himself in. And this is the moment Utah Governor Spencer Cox confirmed his arrest.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident.
And let's bring in Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katersky and Justice Department reporter Alex Mallon. Aaron, what do we know about the suspect so far?
22-year-old Tyler Robinson was taken into custody overnight in Utah by the U.S. Marshals. As you heard from Governor Spencer Cox, it was a family member, we're told his father, who tried to convince his son to turn himself in. And when he didn't, we're told the father called a youth pastor who had an affiliation with the U.S. Marshals Service. The Marshals took him into custody, and the governor said he'll be charged with Charlie Kirk's murder in the coming days. The father seemed to have recognized his son from the surveillance images law enforcement authorities circulated in recent days, the one showing the young man in all dark clothing but with a distinctive shirt, shoes, backpack, and hat. And that description was enough for the father to try to convince his son to turn himself in. Investigators say they've also been able to link him to the weapon through Discord messages that apparently a roommate of Tyler Robinson showed to investigators. Those messages contained content, the governor said, where Robinson allegedly mentioned needing to retrieve a rifle wrapped in a towel. And investigators said when they found the single bolt-action rifle in the woods near the area where they think the suspect escaped, it was wrapped in a towel. The gun and the bullets have now been sent to the FBI lab in Virginia for analysis.
So, Alex, what are the next steps in building this case now?
Well, we heard from Governor Cox that he says he expects that they will have some kind of charging documents filed within the next 3 days, probably early next week, that will probably lay out in greater detail than we just heard at that presser the case against him, and hopefully more about his path to radicalization and taking that alleged shot at Charlie Kirk. We understand, obviously, that they will likely be exploiting any digital devices that he had in his possession. They'll be conducting more interviews with people close to him, including family members. We know that they spoke to his roommate already. So they're obviously building this profile that they expect now to bring charges against. They're going to bring felony charges, state charges, and it's a question of whether we'll see federal charges. We heard from FBI Director Kash Patel emphasizing the federal and state partnership here that led to this arrest. Obviously, they came 2 hours after they held that news conference last night where they released that shocking video showing this suspect, going up from the roof, jumping down, and then fleeing into that neighborhood. So, just starting to see the contours of this case, more images potentially released and more information about the suspect and his digital history, I think, going to be key in building that motive.
And let's bring in White House correspondent Karen Travers, because Karen, I said the governor broke the news at the press conference, but really it was the president who broke this news during a TV interview this morning. Any more from the White House on this?
Yeah, the governor gave the details of the arrest and the suspect, but it was the president, Diane, who went on Fox News this morning at 8 o'clock and said that he had just been briefed 5 minutes before he walked onto that set and was told that law enforcement officials had someone in custody and they felt that this was the guy. The president then talked at length about Charlie Kirk. He talked about the investigation and what will happen next and said that he is hoping there is a quick trial now for, at that point, Tyler Robinson had not been named, but he said for the suspect, and also said he hoped that he would get the death penalty. Diane, we heard the president on the night of the shooting. He released a video talking about what had happened, and he echoed many of those same comments during that interview on Fox today, again blaming what he called the radical left for hatred and saying that they're vicious and horrible but politically savvy. This is notable, the message that we're hearing from the president, from his two sons, who are very much pointing the finger at the left and saying that right now political violence is going only in one direction. That is, of course, not the case. We have seen targeted violence against Democrats and progressives, even in just the last couple of months with those shootings in Minnesota, and of course the arson attack at the governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro's residence earlier this year.
And I want to bring in Washington Bureau Managing Editor Catherine Falders, too. Catherine, officials are also detailing some more of the physical evidence they found in this case. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, they are. Of course, they mentioned that they had found the gun. We know that from yesterday as well. They also mentioned some of the bullets and the casings that were, of course, left not fired, for example. They detailed engravings that were on those casings that, of course, law enforcement officials are still examining. There's some anti-fascist messaging on those. It would appear a number of arrows that they detailed, an up arrow, right arrow symbol, 3 down arrow symbols. All of this is to say that there is inscriptions on the bullets, or at least one bullet, the casings that was left behind, that authorities are still examining. And of course, they detailed a number of messages that were sent on the platform Discord between the suspect in custody and his roommate, of course, who they did not name, that laid out in great detail positioning of the weapon. The authorities said that the suspect had communicated with his roommate saying that he had changed his clothes, for example. So they were able, obviously, to use that evidence as well. So they're detailing that and laying that out. Of course, there's still more to learn from that, as well as authorities try and zero in really on the motive here.
And I also want to go to former NYPD Chief of Detectives Robert Boyce, because Robert, authorities are saying they've already spoken to the suspect's family, they've already spoken to the suspect's roommate, and presumably they have or will be speaking quite a bit to him over the next couple of days. How crucial are these first hours and days of that interrogation process?
In those instances, when you get those statements early on in an investigation, it's crucial to take your case to the DA or to a prosecutor and say, we have this right now. And he's made these statements here, they're locked and solid, and we're going to go forward with that. And then with that, that's probable cause for an arrest. And you can then go forward and get all the other evidence that you need. You get your search warrants for your computers and phones and things of that nature. But those are really important, those statements. They open up the case and identify your shooter in this matter. So crucial that the parents or the family members actually walked in and helped out this prosecution.
All right, Aaron Katursky, Alex Mallon, Karen Travers, Catherine Falders, and Robert Boyce, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
and basically that's the gist of it. It goes again letting us know that Tyler Robinson has been had turned himself in. He's a Utah native, identified as the person who shot and killed Charlie Kirk on Wednesday. He's booked into the Utah County Jail. Charging documents against Robinson are expected to be filed early next week. Arrested for felony discharge of a firearm, aggravated murder, and obstruction of justice, according to probable cause documents. And here's a good look of your at your suspect. Now, among the evidence was the rifle, which we heard about, retrieved from a bush near the building where the shooting took place, and several bullet cartridges with writing on them. One said, "Hey fascists, catch!" While another had the Italian lyrics to a song, "Bella Ciao." And another said, If you read this, you are gay, LMAO." Apart from the reference to fascism, which Cox says speaks to itself, he did not elaborate on the meanings of the other writings. Officials do not anticipate making any other arrests at this time, according to Governor Cox. He said he could not speak to whether the suspect was cooperating with law enforcement. The suspect was not a student at Utah Valley University. He was living and had lived for a long time with his family in St. George, located in southern Washington County, which is about a 4-hour drive from Orem, where the shooting took place. Governor Cox urged young people to build a culture that is very different than what we are suffering through right now. To my young friends out there, he said, you are inheriting a country where politics feels like rage. It feels like rage is the only option. But through those words, we have a reminder that we can choose a different path. The press conference came soon after President Donald Trump confirmed they had the suspected shooter in custody. I think with a high degree of certainty we have him in custody, he said on Fox and Friends early Friday morning. He later added, the subject changed, but the facts are the facts. We have the person that we think is the person we're looking for. And we saw the video of him jumping from the roof. We've seen what you're looking at here is a map of where the shooter was likely located, and the location of where Charlie Kirk was speaking at. That by scale measure, this was approximately 200 yards from that roof to where Kirk was. And that's all I can make out of it now. But when we get more details, I'll be sure to bring that here. But I have a great deal to say about this and our next story. This is in regard to the Evergreen High School shooting. And here's what we got. Actually, here's what we got coming from CBS News Colorado.
The sheriff's office releases new information on the Evergreen school shooter. Allegations he was radicalized before the attack.
Plus, heroes in the community, how neighbors got kids to safety after they ran out of school.
A little cool down today, but more monsoon moisture firing up thunderstorms tonight. I'll let you know when you have the best chance of getting some rain where you live.
We are covering Colorado First on CBS News Colorado at 6. One of 2 students shot at Evergreen High School yesterday afternoon has been identified. Family members shared this picture of 18-year-old Matthew Silverstone, as well as a statement saying they appreciate the love and support of the community. The family also asking for privacy as they focus on his recovery. We know Silverstone and one other student were rushed to the hospital when that shooting happened around lunchtime yesterday. Both are still hospitalized. We're told both are in critical condition. That shooter was also taken to the hospital where he died last night.
And the FBI says an evidence response team is helping with the investigation in Evergreen. We learned today investigators say the 16-year-old shooter had a lot of ammunition on him, and they say he had been radicalized. Officials with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office also highlighted the heroism of the educators inside the school when those shots rang out.
He came up against a roadblock on many of those doors. He couldn't get to those kids. So There's not enough to be said for the work that the teachers, the coaches, the staff, the students, lots of kids ran, but the ones who didn't were locked down and they were being cared for.
Oh, I know these people.
Now, in the middle of that shooting yesterday, in the aftermath, many of everyday heroes in the Evergreen community also stepped in to help protect those students. Dozens of teens ran from the school through the woods to nearby homes, like this one, caught on doorbell camera showing droves of students running by, some hammering on the front door as those kids tried to find a safe place. Those neighbors brought them in, making sure that they were safe.
Your reporter Spencer Wilson spoke to one couple who sheltered students inside their home during the chaos.
Seeing a herd of elk in this Evergreen neighborhood, pretty typical. But when neighbors saw a herd of terrified school children running up and down their street, they knew something was wrong.
Maggie, I'm trying to get some of my sister's friends right now. Hi, do you like some of my sister's friends?
It's just one of the doorbell camera videos from the neighborhood just outside Evergreen High School that shows students rushing down this road to reconnect and find shelter from a school shooter. Janet and Sue noticed a huge group of kids running down their street and asked what was going on.
And she said, "Do you want to come in the house?" And they said yes, and a whole bunch of them ran to the front door, so we let them in, and they were pretty frantic and emotional, which made us pretty emotional too.
Yo, ring the doorbell.
Some of them had heard the shots. Some of them couldn't find their friends.
The one girl that stood out to me was this girl said her friend has a broken foot and she can't run. And I thought, how do you deal?
And she couldn't get a hold of her either.
And what can you do for these kids who you don't even know in what could be one of the worst moments of their lives?
Just gave her a hug. I didn't know what else to do. You can't say it's going to be okay. You just don't know.
But it's how our community responds in emergencies like this that brings into focus that there are those ready and willing to help instead of hurt. In Evergreen, Spencer Wilson covering Colorado First.
I'm so grateful for people like Janet and Sue and that entire community who stepped up in a big way yesterday. We're also learning new details as the investigation into this shooting develops. Tonight, we've learned the identity of the shooter.
And the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office says 16-year-old Desmond Hawley is the one who shot two classmates before turning the gun on himself. Your reporter, Kirsten Roth, was at today's update with investigators. And Kirsten, we got a clearer picture today about how this tragedy all unfolded.
That's right. The suspect, a 16-year-old Evergreen student who rode the bus to school yesterday morning. We're told his parents are cooperating with law enforcement and investigators as they work to uncover more details, including a motive. This the scene at Evergreen High School following Wednesday's tragic shooting. Students were bussed in to pick up their cars, not knowing when they'll be back.
We have a lot of work to do and probably a few things that they'd like to do aesthetically to make that just a more healthy environment for the kids.
The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office says there were windows, lockers, and other school property damaged by bullets.
The suspect had a handgun. He had to keep reloading. He would fire and reload, fire and reload, fire and reload. This went on and on. And as he did that, he tried to find new targets.
According to officials, the crime scenes also extend beyond school property on the roadway behind the building. That's where one of the two students injured was shot.
We also have lab work being done, scene processing from Arvada and NCIS, multiple other agencies, because there's so many crime scenes within the school and outside the school.
While law enforcement is still working on a motive, they've uncovered alarming information that may speak to the suspect's mindset.
It was stated to us specifically that was radicalized through an extremist network. And clearly we take that very seriously.
We're told law enforcement has warrants to search the suspect's home, cell phone, and locker, and that they've also been able to access surveillance footage from inside the school. All will play a crucial role in the investigation. Live in Evergreen, Kirsten Roth covering Colorado First.
All right, Kirsten, thank you. The Evergreen Chamber of Commerce is offering a chance for the community to come together tonight. This is a live look at the Buchanan ball fields where there is food, mental health services. Members of the faith community are there as well, ready to help support anyone who needs them. We know that there will be a vigil as you see a guitar and some podiums and microphones there. That gathering is set to start in just a few minutes.
And we'll continue to follow developments in this shooting, which, like many before it, will send ripples through our community here in Colorado. And if you need help, there are mental health resources available. You can call the Colorado Mental Health Line, just dial 988, or the Colorado Crisis Hotline at 1-844-493-TALK. You can also visit the Walk-In Crisis Center at the Jefferson Center for Mental Health.
And I strongly advise everyone that's suffered from just even hearing news of this sort, or whether it's the Charlie Kirk shooting, the shooting at Evergreen High School, or any of these mass shootings or school shootings of the past, has still coming now. I encourage you to all to get help. Get help. Get if you need it, call in. I'm trying to find the number here. The number is 988. There it is. The Suicide and Crisis Text Line. It's a great lifeline. It'll help anyone that's having issues that they need just need someone to talk to. You can call or text 988. And as promised, I said I had a lot to say regarding this, and I ask you all to bear with me a little bit of time because this will be the last thing I mention before I get out of here. In the span of a single day, 2 lives were lost. One to political hatred, the other to adolescent despair. Charlie Kirk, a polarizing but passionate voice in American conservatism, was assassinated mid-sentence at Utah Valley University. About a minute or so later, a 16-year-old student opened fire at Evergreen High School in Colorado, injuring 2 classmates, before taking his own life. These were not isolated tragedies. They were echoes of a nation unraveling. Sure, they had different motives, different settings, but the same outcome. Violence, silencing voices. Both events took place in spaces meant for learning and dialogue. Both left communities shattered. Both reveal a chilling truth. Violence is no longer the exception. It's becoming the punctuation mark at the end of too many American sentences. Let it be said plainly, celebrating the death of any human being, whether you agree with their politics or not, is despicable. When violence becomes a punchline, we lose more than civility. We lose our soul. The death of Charlie Kirk is not a victory for the left, or the right for that matter. The shooting at Evergreen High School is not a footnote beneath a trending hashtag. These are lives lost, families shattered, communities grieving. And if your first instinct is to cheer, mock, or mean that pain, then the problem isn't just political, it's spiritual. When our elected leaders only grieve for those who share their politics, they're not leading, they're campaigning. The Kirk is a tragedy. So was the murder of Melissa Hortman. So was the attempted assassination of Josh Shapiro. So was the Evergreen High School shooting. To mourn one and ignore the other, that's to say, without saying, that some lives matter less. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not patriotism. That is not leadership. And most certainly, that is not moral courage. We must resist the temptation to rank tragedies. We must recommit to justice without vengeance. For it's written in Scripture, the Lord Himself said, "Vengeance is mine, I will repay." That is not a call to passivity. It is a call to purity. To pursue truth without cruelty. To seek accountability without bloodlust. And cheers when enemies fall. Let us be the ones who mourn. Scripture says again, "Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted." In a culture that weaponizes grief, let us be the ones who heal. Because justice, when stripped of mercy, becomes just another form of violence. There are two more scriptures I think about as I get ready to end this night. One says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God." The other tells us, "Do not repay evil for evil, but overcome evil with good." In this moment, may we choose to be peacemakers. Not passive, not silent, but bold. Is through truth and if you wanted another reason why I do this, this is why. This is why I speak. This is why I stand. And this is why I will not stop. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me this evening for this short edition of The Final Word. Again, let's try to be the ones to be peacemakers. Until we do this again, remember which channel you are on right now. This is the no gimmicks, no drama, no BS channel. This is where we remember, we reflect, and we do not run. This is Bethea'S Byte.
It's...
Thank you all for joining me here at the drama-free true crime destination. Be sure to follow Bethea'S Byte Reloaded all over social media and get your coverage of true crime news with no gimmicks, no drama, and no BS. This is Bethea'S Byte, and it's reloaded.